IVM.
Yes, it's all available on Storytel. By all, I mean great books. Some have changed my life. One which comes to mind immediately is, and don't laugh, Right Body for You. That's right. A book I read from start to finish. It didn't change my body, but it changed my look at how I look at my body, which is I don't look at it anymore. But Right Body for You will help you gain the kind of figure or physique that you want. I know this is true because I've gone and seen people change in front of my eyes. That's because I used to work at a tailor shop, but that's another story. Right Body for You. So keep in mind that if you go through storytel.com/IVM, you get a 30-day free trial as against a 14-day free trial on the link. All right, it's very simple. All you got to do is log on to storytel.com/IVM. Millions and millions and millions of stories, many written by me. All that and more. Find it all on Storytel. कृपया ध्यान दीजिए. The language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you. Tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All right, Cock and Bull, the show that used to be Cyrus Says, changes form. We have Varun, who's a startup multimillionaire who's going to invest in our entire podcast, not just mine alone. Cock and Bull, thank you, Varun.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Yes, it's called Cock and Bull, used to be called Cyrus Says, and today was a very poignant moment in my life. I hugged my chauffeur Prakash. I hugged him very tight, held him to my bosom and held him tight like that, like you hug a baby. Because it's probably the end of the Prakashes, and I'll explain that. Soon, like the Parsis and the tiger and the peacock, I'm told off the record that all professional chauffeurs will be extinct in India. It's a battle for them with the Ubers, with the Olas. I'm told Reliance will be moving in, metro happening, and above all, Mumbai, the municipality or the government or somebody who's in power decided to impose 10,000 rupee fines for no parking. Which professional driver can pay that kind of money? Up to 7,500, yes, but 10,000 is just too much. So I hugged him tight and I said bye to him because it's just a matter of time before he's gone forever. He and his ilk. So you have a chauffeur. If you're middle class Mumbaikar who has a chauffeur, who knows someone has a chauffeur, go and hug him, hold him tight. Let him feel your emotion because you'll never see him again. Try and hold these moments because these moments don't come back. You can't see a movie by Karan Johar later which shows you the moment. It doesn't work for me that way. Seize the moment now. Enjoy it. Say bye-bye to all the drivers out there. They've done well, but it's time to go. It's called Cock and Bull. We'll be right back.
Hey Krupa, check out my beatboxing. Boots and cat and boots and cat
man,
and
please
boots
stop.
and cats. Alright, check out my singing.
No, I'm serious, stop.
But why?
Because you're genuinely bad and because you've got actual talent to showcase. Presenting the ATKT Talent Time podcast where I, Krupa,
An IP man, chat with some immensely talented college students about the fun part of college, like freshers' life, the music and poetry scene, side hustles for college students.
and the not so fun like weird dress codes, hostel deadlines, and ragging.
New episodes every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast app, the IVM Podcast website, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. Hey Krupa, check out my poetry. Roses are red,
No.
violets are blue.
No.
You are special.
Please stop.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Back with the N2 panel. I love it because I'm the only one who starts with an okay or all right or let's rock. And
Well, you're the host,
No,
right?
I'm
So
still on
you're
MTV, so it's just irreverent crap all the time. You don't care about what's happening.
You're supposed to be first, right? We're all waiting for your lead.
No, it's not that. I just think that I'm taking some narcotic substance below the table and nobody's observing it, and it's
Okay.
just driving me nuts. And then I come to the three normal people, and Abbas, the producer, come.
Three normal people and a bus.
Okay. Three normal people is you alone, Abbas. Wearing his Johnny Bravo shirt, who's doing karate.
Yeah.
I love his shirt collection.
He does do t-shirts. I think there's one that comes in every week for him at least.
Yeah.
At least once a week a new t-shirt comes in.
See, when you're not married and don't have kids and stuff, these things occupy your time.
As opposed to driver fines?
No, well, that as well as the diapers that I have to change between my father and my son. So, I mean, that's a huge job for anyone. Amit, welcome to the show, your own show. You decided to put yourself on it, and rightly so.
I did.
It's like Tendulkar choosing his own team. I wouldn't say Virat Kohli because if you take the real name, you're in trouble. So you never say that. And of course, above all, let's welcome our guest, Varun Mukerji, who's come from Pune and waited here 4 hours before all of us.
Not 4 hours, but yeah, thank you.
You almost spent the night here. You did yoga,
Pretty much,
calisthenics, read a newspaper, and now you're here.
Got really acquainted with the office boys. It was cool.
Oops. That was funnier than anything I've said so far. Okay, Varun, a bit about you. You're a startup king.
Yes.
Worth
I'm
millions
not a
of
king.
dollars.
Sure, no.
Top 50 Forbes millionaires in rural Maharashtra. You live and you were born and bred in Pune?
No, I was actually born in Odisha. I mean,
Wow.
back then it was called Odisha.
Right. It was still called Odisha, but if you spoke Oriya. But
Probably.
I
didn't.
I don't want to argue the point because you'll get angry in the beginning.
I was just a baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, did you wake up and say, Mom, what is it?
where is
Odisha.
this place? No. No, and then I moved to Pune when I was hardly a year old.
Or Pune.
So,
I'm not sure what
correct.
we call it anymore. This country is
hard
funny.
to keep track.
There are 3 names for everything. You should have them all ready at any given point.
Is, yes.
On your Aadhaar card, it should say Pune, Punaikar, whatever. Everything should be there. Sorry. Reach.
Yes. It's my First of all, thank you for having me. This is also very interesting. I didn't expect to hear my own voice.
We follow the government. They like to hear their own voice. We like to hear our own voice. We just follow.
Yeah. And
Why did I have to explain that? It's stupid.
So Abbas called me last week. I was very excited. I'm very new to the podcast format. I've tried a few times to get into it.
Really?
And I mean, in terms of listening, like not really.
Okay.
But it goes to show it being
over-intellectualized the entire process and wasted your time and ours. But go on.
Yeah. So I run a small company in Pune called Reach. We work mainly in the social sector. We help them with their data.
Yeah.
Various NGOs and CSR folks. But on the side, we're trying to build awareness about social issues. And that's what I wanted to talk about today.
All right.
Yeah.
If it's not funny, I won't air it. You have a joke per issue? Two jokes if it involves children, because children can be highly boring sometimes. Yeah. Silence around. What did we say?
He has a funny offshoot,
no ball.
which is very interesting, called Mantri cards.
Oh, Emma sent them to us.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you have a chance to look at them?
I did look at them. Those are really cool, man.
Yeah. So we've been trying to come up with different ways in which we can talk about various important things and make it interesting for people. And we launched this game a few months, just at the wake of the elections results, called Mantri Cards. It's basically like top trump cards, how we used to have with WWF wrestlers or cricketers.
Oh, no, Trump, I thought double meaning there. Trump would have a whole set of cards, only Trump. Trump looking out of the window.
I think
Trump
there is
making
one
sexist
actually
comment.
like that, yeah.
Trump with Mexicans. I don't know, come on.
And so we thought we'd do one on the 17th Lok Sabha and take information that they have themselves submitted in their affidavits and present it in a cool format for people to get to know more mantris than your usual hand.
For example?
Right.
Sorry?
Can you give us an example of
it's all
the
the-
biodata?
You have...
I just want to see
Oh,
how
sure.
it sounds.
So there are 542 MPs that have moved into the Lok Sabha, and they submit their, of course, their age and their educational qualifications, their assets,
Financial
immovable
status,
yes, their criminal cases, within that the IPC, all of that stuff, and it's publicly available
Who will
information.
read books anymore? 542 plus 2 by-elections of 544.
Yeah.
That'll take me 2 years just going through all that. Wow.
No, and the information is very dense, and even for people who work in data like me, like it's very difficult to kind of sift through. So we decided we might make it more interactive and make it a game as a starting.
How do you win?
Oh, that's a great question.
Trump card game, man. You never played the trump card game when you were a kid? How many CCs do your
See,
card have?
by
with
the
the
age of-
I think he meant
By the-
win like more metaphorically.
By the age of 12, I was playing with myself. So, all these other sports
Trump
stopped very
cards,
quickly.
Dude, we played trump cards when I
But
was
before
like
that, I was
5,
playing
6, 7, 8.
marbles, no metaphor. So I just, just segued the wrong way.
No, so trump cards is essentially like you'll have some numerical data and people compare and...
Oh, you can take any number and
you can
argue.
pick it.
Right.
Remember the cards?
On cricket, the cricket cards. The cricket cards.
Yeah,
Exactly.
same kind of thing,
Exactly.
yeah.
The IPL cricket cards. How can I forget? On the wrestling cards. I played that
Yeah.
to put my son to sleep, but I would fall asleep playing
So-
it.
Okay, huh.
So yeah, so we...
makes sense, It is boring.
Very boring. But no, not your cards.
No,
not your
Okay, so I kind of
Amit
brought...
Doshi.
Oh,
How dare you?
The game is it's fun to look at the cards and to kind of get some idea of what the cards are. But you saying, okay, I have a car with 100cc and you saying I have 105cc and I win. That's boring, man.
Yeah, but I think here, if it's a question of I have 37 criminal cases and I have 43 criminal cases,
That's
you got
not
to
so
show
boring.
respect to the one who's 43.
That's one way to look at
Done
it.
more with their life. They've, spread the love more. And I think I would get into this game.
You could have a look at it.
Yeah,
here.
no,
I got some
saw these.
samples.
I did see these.
Let's make the listener feel bad. We've got the cards in our hands, which you can't see, but we can. I have Shashi Tharoor here, but with my bad eyesight. Age 63 years. highest education PhD. So he has no friends in the Sabha.
People can buy these online?
No, so it's a crowdfunding campaign right now. And
criminal cases only 2. Shashi, pull up, buck up.
But hefty ones.
But assets declared 35 crores. Huh?
Yeah.
Not
so
bad.
this is all
Number of
information
terms, 3.
based on what they have submitted themselves to the. So if it's interesting actually. So we put this up on social media, and some people go like, "Oh, this is right wing or left wing or whatever it is," and it's essentially. Or someone's actually said you're probably funded by the right wing, and I was like, "No, actually, we're looking for funding. So it's a crowdfunding campaign. Please go to the
Rahul Gandhi, age 48 years, highest education. He's a master in philosophy.
Turns out.
Is it true?
As per his submission of the affidavit. So.
Not bad. Criminal cases only 5. Come on. This is not working, man.
What are you going to do, man?
But you're there in politics for about 2 or 3 terms. How many terms is written here? 4 terms. 4 terms and only 5 cases. Not good.
And then you have these power cards.
Yeah.
Which are just an example of a power card.
I'm holding a power card which has Indira Gandhi's picture with the word emergency. This topic can now be discussed for 5 years. Then we'll see. Yeah.
And so like that we have a bunch of power cards that will alter gameplay to make it interesting.
It's like the Joker, whatever, the most powerful card that you can...
There are multiple. There's like 8 of them that we have. So 100 of the MPs out of the 542 and 8 power cards that will just alter gameplay and make it interesting.
Wow.
So it's very much a crowdfunding campaign. We're at 2 lakh of the 4 lakh target at the moment, so it'd be great if
do it on Wishberry.
On Wishberry,
on
yes.
Wishberry. So wow, let's put a link.
Put the link in the description.
Yes. And you get an income tax write-off as well.
Well, we don't get anything out of this right now, unless you want to sponsor from additional stuff that costs.
That's a great idea. You sponsor our show as well as sponsor Reach's idea of spreading awareness.
No, some of these games take offline. They do really, really well, right? Like
Fortnite. Fortnite was for NGOs.
Fortnite is different.
Rich boys in Malba Hill whose fathers don't want to go out and work.
That's true.
But we got cool rewards. Like we've for some of the backers, we can even make their personalized monthly illustration like this. So we're doing some cool stuff. You should check out the Wishberry page.
Do you do the Rajya Sabha as well?
No, this is just the Lok Sabha.
If this takes off, then
maybe a next version brought to you by Cyrus.
It's also visually more. The enhancement will be there visually because it's a slightly older group. And this Lok Sabha is not exactly young, so you're going higher with that. I like that. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And always keep standby cards to fill in people who
Yeah, and I mean this is also this was also an attempt to kind of make it more interesting for people, especially younger people who haven't really figured out their gateway to understanding the political landscape. So this is
here's a mean question.
Sure.
If a child has a chance of playing with the wrestling cards or the cricket cards or football cards,
these are more powerful people.
Will they still go for these guys because they don't have that sportiness about them?
That edge. No, one of the taglines we've used actually is
Amit is looking at me because we have to choose our words well. And now we're taking on the entire beast. We're not even taking on one party or the other. Taking on the entire beast is like suicide, right? Yeah. Really stupid.
No, one of the taglines we use is we used to play with WWF wrestlers. Why not pick people more powerful? So these are arguably way more powerful.
Because I'm wondering if you're looking at a target audience is slightly older than the ones that do the football and wrestling and cricket thing, which is more like 11, 12.
I think it's
more
also
like 13, 14.
Nostalgic thing.
It's nostalgic, but it's also educational, right?
Sure.
So it's somewhat educational, right? So people, you basically market to the parents, try to get them to give it to their kids so their kids are more politically aware.
So you're trying to tell them politics is fun, which is what our politicians actually think. Yeah. So we're trying to get that message out there. Fair enough. Lovely. All right, enough of this. Cards.
Sure.
Too much gambling on the show. Are we allowed to gamble in? We're not allowed to gamble, right? In a way, we are.
This is not gambling.
There's no money involved. No?
How do we know? We don't mention where there is. Today's 12-year-olds all spend money on this kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess you could gamble with this, right?
I think you should.
Really. We're going to include some interesting gameplay options in the leaflet with the pack.
So then I guess gambling does come into play.
Soon the game will be on NASDAQ. I'm telling you, it will be all over the place. All right. So that, Varun, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and I just want to know how old you are before we proceed.
I'm 30.
30. And you started your startup at what age?
2 years ago. So
in 2 years, not bad. At 28, and you're alone on this.
I actually have 2 co-founders. Okay. One is a chemical engineer turned CSR consultant because we do a lot of social related work, right? And the other is a graphic designer by background who get into systems thinking and human-centered design. So our problem that we're trying to solve is to bring information in a more accessible, consumable, ideally retainable way that people from outside these spaces can engage with it, make it.
Hence, I said politics is fun because kids turn away from politics for some reason, and I don't mean Rahul Gandhi. I mean kids. Stop those jokes. Stop those jokes don't work anymore.
Well, he's given in his papers now, so
Yeah, he's given in his papers, but equity remains with the family or not? Because that's a little complicated. The structure is not, I can't comprehend it. No clarity there. Speaking of structure, so what is it worth, your startup, sir?
Oh, there's no valuation as yet. It's very small fry.
10 million?
No.
20 million?
That's not really how it works.
50 million? No, because my next question is, would you like to sponsor the show?
Oh, no, maybe the other way around, right?
Damn you! Why do we get that 1-6 startup guy? That Agarwal fellow said the same thing to us before he started Ole.
I know, man.
Oyo, sorry.
Ola.
Oyo.
Oh,
See,
Ritesh.
Agarwal?
Oyo
Ritesh,
rolls.
yeah.
Ritesh.
Ritesh, huh?
Well,
you know him that
first
well.
name basis.
I met him. I know, but I was thinking of
You really met him? Why did you get him on the show?
Oh, well, I mean, I met a lot of these guys. Yeah. So Ritesh is Oyo Room.
How do you meet him?
I met him at, I think it was a startup event of some kind.
You should have grabbed him, Amit.
Dude,
Billionaire overnight.
Well, not
We don't
overnight.
need that kind of money.
He spent billions overnight. He didn't actually become. He is a paper billionaire for a long time.
He's in his 20s and he's struck gold.
Well, so he's been a paper billionaire for a long time, and now he bought $2 billion worth of buyback he did from his existing investments. Right? Himself personally, he bought $2 billion worth of shares to increase his own stake.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool.
He's still controlling stakeholder, right?
Well, I think that's what part of this was about, right? To kind
now
of
he
get
is.
some more control. I don't think he'd be controlling still.
This is not about Ritesh. We should focus more on Varun. It's really
Well,
wrong to
that's
call him
nice.
here, invite him, come late ourselves,
Yeah.
and then talk about some other
I
entrepreneur
know, but when you're saying
who's not doing that much for charity.
well,
Because bed and breakfast, I guess, is important. But
you don't know what he's doing. I mean,
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, but you said Agarwal, and I thought Bhavesh Agarwal, which is the Ola guy, not the Oyo guy.
Right. Any Agarwal out there, and I go up with 3 in my class, so if you want to put money into our show, we'll change the first name, no issues whatsoever. And we'll increase your record and put you on the game Mantri.
Yeah, Mantri cards, yeah.
Varun, anything else you want to add from Reach and what you're doing?
So we launched also this prototype web app called Besides. It's similar in terms of it's just presenting information about the political landscape. It's called besides.in.
I've seen the website, yeah.
You land on a random fact. It's every time you land on it, it's got a unique user experience because the fact that you're landing on is completely different, and it's randomized. I'm using that word a lot. With 2 questions underneath it, and that you can navigate your way through learning about various things within the Indian context. And it's very much a prototype right now, but one of the reasons we did monthly cards was trying to build some funds to put behind the tech and the research behind Besides.
Right.
Besides, as the name suggests, it's like trying to make facts or significant topics more conversational. So like
it's also musically in my generation what would be played on the other side of the record.
Yes,
the
B-sides. That is one of the bonus meanings behind it, but not many people catch on.
Nobody gets it. Well, I respect you guys a lot because your 2 big things, Reach itself and Besides, it's like incomplete sentence. And only I understand that kids are so stupid nowadays that you have to, get them involved. You can only get them involved with one word. They don't have the patience to read a whole sentence. So Besides, that's enough. You say besides the point, the kid's dead.
Yeah. So the attention span has gone to the point where phraseology is also not possible.
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean, and
Agarwals, if you're out there, we need sponsorship.
To that end, I mean, the facts are all tweetable. They're meant to be deliberately under 280 characters.
Fundamental rights are those defined as the basic human rights of all citizens. These rights are applicable irrespective of race, place of birth, religion, caste, creed, or gender. This is the Besides.
And underneath that, there's like a URL.
It sounds like the UN Charter of Human Rights.
So underneath there are 2 questions. What is the purpose of fundamental rights, and what can India not deny to any person within the territory of India?
So you can feel free to click on one, and it loads super fast.
Okay.
Spitting. If you spit outside India, I can't help you. Here I can actually help you. I can applaud or whatever. I'm just saying. There are more things. Abbas, come up with 10.
The right to spit. Okay, I guess that's the right. That's interesting.
Pretty cool. Spend some time on it.
It's a rabbit hole type thing, right?
It's kind of like you keep going. In fact, when Bandersnatch came out last year, it was kind of annoying because we had it's similar, like one or the other thing.
Who came first?
Chicken or the egg?
You know what Bandersnatch is, Cyrus?
I don't
It's a
have
Black
to.
Mirror.
I'm
reference.
sure. I don't think
It's
Cyrus knows it.
I have no idea. Are you going to explain it to me now?
No,
and waste more
I'm just
time?
going to give you a one-liner. No, there was basically that interactive.
Can't you give me a one-worder like Besides?
It was the interactive fiction piece where you choose your own adventure type thing.
Ooh, but does it happen?
Huh?
Does it happen then?
Yeah. So
In the show
as you go through
Yeah.
Netflix, it says, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? And then you do that and then you go
And based on your choice, the
My
story goes
Netflix
forward.
always says you don't have Wi-Fi. The same black thing comes on and then the...
But that's a different problem.
Why is that happening all the time?
Because you don't have Wi-Fi going throughout.
But it always happens. I'm watching a murder mystery and the guy's saying, and the murderer is, and then boom, it's gone.
Well, that's...
And cricket, with the last over, 5 to get, and here comes right time over the wicket and gone due to rain conditions. It always happens at that point.
That is frustrating. That's something that I see a lot too.
It used to happen during orgasms as well.
Of course.
Now I see nobody wants to discuss that.
I don't know where to go with that.
Huh? Mr. Reach, you got anything for that?
Yeah, no.
Sexual awareness?
All for...
How to prolong your orgasm without joining a cult.
No, you mean to say when you're about to reach orgasm, you lose the Wi-Fi.
Abbas, I'm visually seeing you having sex in my mind. Yeah, well, you're right. We mixed our jokes and lost it.
Fine, let's go to our main program.
I think we should. We're 20 minutes into the program and all we've discussed is cards. Okay. With due respect.
So the first story is related to a Gandhi. Priyanka Gandhi went to Sonbhadra to...
She's a Vadra.
But she was a Gandhi and she still is...
I will argue this point till my dying day.
That she's not a Gandhi?
She's a Vadra. It's like saying my wife's a Monani. I wish she's a Monani, but now she's a Brocha. That's the way it is.
She went to Sonbhadra to meet the relatives of the victims who were in a shooting incident. She was stopped at one point. She wasn't allowed to go ahead. So she did a sort of dharna. Then she was eventually allowed to go. Yogi Adityanath also went to meet the relatives.
Well, so if you go quietly, nobody will know you're there. But the problem is everybody projects that they're there and then the opposition party who's in power will send 2 million people out there.
Can a Gandhi travel quietly?
A Vadra.
Or a Vadra.
My whole point is politicians don't. Why do they ever do that? But the whole thing is they want to be seen. It's not about what really happens.
No, they can, but they do sometimes.
Just
but
go quietly.
It'll leak later, no?
I don't know. I'm saying
you go to a monastery, you stay in a cage, it'll come out later. It won't come out at the same time.
You're trying to show solidarity, pay condolences, that kind of thing. Why does it have to be an event? Just quietly go.
But that's not how it works, no?
Listen, I want a Being Human t-shirt, but sometimes, you got to just do the charity, man.
Okay.
So, Yogi Adityanath said that the Congress party, whose leaders are shedding crocodile tears over the incident.
How does it translate in Hindi? You're from Lucknow.
Magarmach ke aansu.
But is it a proper phrase in Hindi?
Yeah.
This is an English phrase. I don't know. Why would
no, but Magarmach ke aansu is very common. That? I guess because crocodiles...
Crocodiles...
Their eyes water irrespective of any death, right? Yeah. So, there is always constant this.
Correct.
It's,
also, when they eat human flesh, they're always disappointed because generally Indians don't have a lot. Right. And so, biting into that is like the tears start coming. What have I done? I could have gone Chinese.
We also have an alligator story later on.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So the difference is in the nozzle.
I think so.
I think it's also salt water, fresh water.
Yeah.
No, that's crocodile both. Aussies have them. They call them salties.
Oh, really?
They're both crocodiles. It's
they
the size
call who
and
salties? The animals.
The difference is in the size of the
jaw,
privates.
No? It's the jaw size.
The jaws and the privates both. I'm giving you a chance to come, since you're the animal expert here, and have worn many crocodile t-shirts on this very podcast. Yeah.
But do you think that in the one-upmanship, one party trying to show we are more sympathetic towards you.
Exactly.
The actual cause gets lost.
So there's nothing sacred in India. It's very rare. What happens is even if they're sincere, which we all know is very difficult to be when you're a politician after a period of time, but if somebody goes and attends something which is tragic and tries to show solidarity and condolence and respect, the other one will attack. And attack for, politicize the whole thing, and the whole idea of what they're there for, that just gets disrespected and pushed out of the way. And it then becomes again a battle. And that's the beauty of politics.
Also, why do you think Priyanka was chosen for this and not Rahul?
I don't think anyone's choosing it. I think it's in disarray at the moment. It's not like they've got a nice CEO on top.
Is this like planting for the...
I know people are saying that. But this rumor mongering is going on. But at the moment, as far as I know, what I can see, they don't have a power structure in place, which is really, like the opposition. Guys may not notice this about the opposition, but they have this one guy who runs the entire party. And there's no question. Yes, there's a second guy, but he is below the first guy. Okay. And there is no third guy. Kripaya, dhyan dijiye. There is no third guy.
In the opposition?
In the opposition party, which is the highest vote gatherer in the central election. Okay, right. I will not take the name of any party because I want to be non-aligned.
Fair enough.
Wait, if you're talking about
till my green card comes
two
through.
Main guys holds for the party in power also.
That's
I think he was
Why don't you guys, why don't you hold hands and replay the episode later and just the wise words,
go through the stats on the
monologue from
cards.
Hamlet that you missed, totally. You kill all the sense of comedy and love now. But coming back, last words on the topic. Let's ask Varun to talk. Sure. He's like a neutral in a sense.
Yeah, he's also a political guy, right?
Of course he is.
He's doing cards.
So both, what do you make of the whole idea of making a song and dance of a tragedy, A, and B, attacking the song and dance and forgetting about the tragedy? Let's push it aside. It's more about why are you here?
Yeah, I think, I'm not an expert on the subject, but I think that it's sad as a topic itself, and for that to be politicized is unfortunate. At the same time, maybe it's important that important people are speaking on the subject to get more attention to the subject, but I'd like to see the main thing be the main thing.
Right. Also, why can't people just attend, show solidarity, and that's all there is to it? Why do you have to go on about it after some time?
It is, you want to show your own kind of little this, no?
So what happens is we've got like 10, 20 players in the business as far as politics goes, and wherever they go, somebody will find fault with it. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody will and without now being totally non-aligned.
The nature of the thing.
Yes,
itself,
but after some time, it's like racism. The prejudice is thus. You're there, I'll find out what the wrong point is in you being there.
Right.
You see, you're looking from a negative side already. The prejudice is there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
With
no,
our
I agree.
pantheon.
But that's
The big ones.
That's the nature of politics, isn't it? I mean,
I want those guys.
It is when you're doing a zero-sum game. Every time that there is a benefit to another political party, there is a loss to you, right? So you have to kind of.
I'll draw a parallel quickly from what you're saying with Donald Trump, and you're all going to take out your choppers and hit me for a second. But I really get irritated when everybody just takes off on him. Every comedian in America, every comedian in the West, every newscaster, credible newscaster, the area between the comedian and the newscaster is not much because they talk down when they begin. And he's at it again. And, it start like that. So my whole point is the prejudice is there. Now, whether he's right or wrong is the point too, but I'm just saying that the prejudice is there.
That's not prejudice. It's calling out something that he makes. But a couple of days ago, while we discussed this.
You don't have to remind me.
No, we discussed this. He said one of the congresswomen is 8% down. There is no factual evidence to say
and
how
those are smaller
down.
crimes. I totally accept all that.
Right.
But I'm just saying that the setup is thus that everybody's just waiting to shoot him. That's it. He deserves it, is point two.
There's a certain amount of fatigue with him as well, right? In the sense that, I'm tired of listening about Donald Trump. I don't really listen to any comedy about Donald Trump anymore. I used to watch the Seth Meyer videos all the time. I used to watch them all the time. I don't watch them ever anymore.
I'm more disappointed with the news channels.
But because the thing is, the
CNN's... okay, go on.
No, but you can't normalize what he does, right? That's the problem, right? So now he's created this atmosphere where you're kind of like, oh, here he goes again.
He made a statement recently where he was asked to mediate India-Pakistan. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Somebody tweeted something.
No, with Imran yesterday, they brought up Kashmir and he said, I'll be happy to mediate in the Kashmir issue.
But
whatever the hell that means.
Again,
he can't handle Mexico.
So but the Indian representative in the States actually said that's all hogwash, and I don't know why he said that.
Well, it's on the front page of all the English dailies.
Because he's Donald Trump. He doesn't make sense when he talks.
Is he really the person you want to mediate India-Pakistan talks?
I don't know about that. I'm coming back.
And also, the Fox News did the same thing with Obama for 8 years. Right? What you're saying CNN is doing with Trump.
Yeah, but I just have a bit of a problem with...
There's a difference over there, and just to kind of add on to your point a little bit, the difference is Fox News is one particular outlet with one particular this, right?
So you become Fox News from the other side. So left-rightness has happened to right-rightness. So then everybody's just attacking everybody. What I'm saying is there's no
use
fun.
the word right very weirdly.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But how do I explain it then? It's clear in my head.
What you're trying to say, you use the word right as a substitute for strident and non-flexible.
When left becomes extreme, left becomes right.
No, you mean non-flexible. You mean inflexible. You mean this. You mean like basically...
See, now you're being right.
See, I said last week, anybody who doesn't agree with you according to you is right.
Is right wing.
Yeah, which is not true.
It's fascism. He's bullying me. You can see it. Write in and explain how I'm being bullied by 3 people here and how I fought back alone. And while I'm fighting back, we'll take a quick break and then come back. Varun, you're superb. Don't let these 2 Visigoths get to you.
Yeah.
The German tribe. Very powerful. Attacked a lot of people. Won lots of battles. Scratched themselves in public a lot. Still do to
Also a name of a heavy metal band.
I love that band. Can you sing 3 songs?
I can't.
Janice, what do you think couples did before TV was invented?
I don't know, go for walks on the beach, long drives, fancy dinners, have more sex maybe?
But what did we do when we decided to move in together? We debated between the Chromecast and the Fire Stick.
We gave up on sleeping early so we could stay up watching true crime shows.
We got ourselves 3 cat babies.
And basically became the cutest couch potatoes around.
Okay then.
In case you guys still haven't got it, we are a TV crazy, Netflix loving, binge watching Mr. and Mrs.
I'm Anirudh Guha.
I'm Janice Sequeira.
And if like us, you snort TV for breakfast, lunch and dinner, this is the podcast for you.
Tune in every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever it is that you get your podcast from. This is
Mr.
and Mrs.
Binge Watch.
Yeah, back here with some of the most heated discussions I've ever heard in my life into vulgar men. And Varun, thank you for joining us once again. Quick mention, Reach.
Monthly
card.
Yeah,
and
on Wishberry and besides the app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And
all links will be in the description.
Is there anything else you want to talk about coming up next?
He's ready for podcasting.
He's ready for marketing.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So let's move on to topic number 36.
Yeah. So pictures of VVIP toilets in Pakistan went viral on the internet. Essentially, the office of the Ministry of Industries and Production have put up washrooms where you have to scan your biometric and only then this thing will unlock.
Scan your biometric means?
As in you have to put your fingerprint and only ranked officials get to use those washrooms. Like
the caste system.
Yeah. And which is ironic because Imran Khan came with the promise of excluding the VVIP red batti culture.
Right.
So yeah.
So only if you're a colonel and upwards can you do potty.
Additional secretary or an officer above the rank of additional
secretary and above for potty. Below that, no potty.
No potty.
Stay in the car.
Yeah.
Should have done it in the morning.
I don't know what to make of this, right? I mean, like, in some ways, I understand
Yeah, let's look at it from both sides. If you're in admin, you actually do this because of the crap, literally, no metaphor, inside that damn toilet. So how do you bifurcate it and
But it says that the washrooms for the other people aren't well kept
the
and
biggest
clean.
problem. That's the big problem, right?
So it was a terrible washroom when it was a uni washroom, and then they
still
decided
is.
to have upper class and lower class.
Yeah.
So upper class will keep it clean, hopefully. That's the statement they're making.
It's kept clean for them.
It's kept
Now,
clean
the
for
communist
them.
now,
How do they access
Varun
it?
is a Mukerji, clearly a communist. Let him answer this question. How do you feel?
Oh wow! No,
About separate-
I just laughed when I read the article because it's a weird direction. I
think they've got it wrong, Varun. I want to interject here quickly because I think the idea that they should have is the higher ranked additional secretary should get a bigger pot. Like business class. Larger pot. The flat should be more accessible. He must have video to watch while he does his thing. That should be the difference. Right. Not nothing else.
No, so I think the issue is that the other toilets suck. That's the bigger issue, right? The fact that there are toilets which are there for senior bureaucrats or senior officials in the government.
Because they keep it clean.
No, it's not about keeping it clean. It's about...
it is. In the subcontinent, nobody keeps toilets clean.
But
you know that.
That is the problem. That is the problem, right? The problem is that government toilets should be clean.
I have gone on Air India flights.
Yes.
Where after 2 hours of being on the flight, I completely go into a sort of comatose state digestively because my body says there's no way, in the words of Marvin Hagler and Robert Duran, no mas, I can't go there anymore. And a lot of people do this. I've spoken to people, I've researched this. Varun, tell me, what would you do? Would your body go into a state of no digestion for the next 24 hours? Let's just keep it. Because we have to.
I wonder if they time how long people spend in there because you have to literally put your fingerprint on the.
Oh, that's a good point.
As you enter.
So 3 minutes, then touch it again.
Yeah.
Oops. Wow.
I just have trouble getting outraged about... I feel like we're outraged about the wrong thing. We should be outraged about the fact that senior officials have their own toilet. We should be outraged about the fact that the toilets are not kept clean just in general.
So is that because the attendants are keeping them clean or we're just unhygienic? Call the truth. Call the truth.
I don't know. So in India, India government office you look at in the last since Modi has come in, and I mean, again, we all have our
toilet has been strong. We've had 4 movies on toilets, only 3 on Prime Minister. It's true. It's a statistic we should hold.
No, toilets and government bathrooms are actually clean. I mean, whenever I've gone to a government facility for any kind of thing, right, whether it is going to the Mantralaya or whether it's going to getting a lease registered or any no matter what I've gone to for a government thing. I've gone to a police station a couple of times. Government toilets are clean.
This is where the business is conducted as well, or you?
Well, I mean, I am going for.
Fair enough. Just leave it there. Don't answer. Sometimes
in
you just
Pune, they're doing this. I mean, I don't know if the smart cities thing is prevalent here as well, but they have these IoT, Internet of Things, activated toilets that they're setting up in certain aspects. I've never used them, but yeah, I think we are moving in a good direction.
There's also public toilet access in Bombay itself. And again, I'm just talking about Bombay. Outside of Bombay, I know that things are not the same, but in Bombay, at least, public toilet access has become a lot
one thing, we use it more for number one. I pee all over, so I know. So it's bearable in the sense that you manage it quickly and get out.
Yes.
Try doing the other thing. The other thing is not going to be fun. Well, I won't mention that because it's a little unorthodox to mention on our
You're
show.
not wrong about that.
You're
not wrong about that, but I think that's just generally, I mean, like, and this is maybe just me, but I'm just generally uncomfortable taking a dump anywhere but my own toilet.
Yeah, but in Singapore, in such an emergency, you'd be able to pull it off and there wouldn't be a problem. So why is Singapore clean and we are not?
There are toilets in India also which you can go take a dump in at the end of it, no?
I'm talking about on the road, Baba.
On the road, but
the emergencies happen. Emergencies don't happen when you're in the Taj Mahal hotel.
Emergencies happen when they happen. In the road, if you take a dump, then you're taking two issues, Swachh Bharat as well as the toilet abhiyan.
That's on the road. I wasn't saying that. I was talking about on the road in a public
even if
toilet.
you're in Singapore, if you're on the road somewhere, you're going to have to go and find a toilet. No, it's not like the toilet's just going to appear in front of you.
Fair enough. But my point is now, thanks to Google Maps, you know where your toilets are.
Because Singapore is small, there aren't that many people. But
it's not that.
Population.
I've been to Sao Paulo. Poor, people aren't very rich there in parts of Brazil.
Don't tell me that Brazil toilets are better. I have seen
in certain parts of Brazil, they're better. They're better.
So certain parts of India also.
No, the cleanliness. There's no one more dirty than our subcontinent. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and not Sri Lanka. These three countries are the dirtiest. Let's face it.
I don't know if I agree with that, man.
And there are poor countries across the world where the toilet culture is better. Why can't we just own it?
What do you think is happening in the toilet culture?
I believe that we don't care enough when the people are kids. The kids have to, when they're young, you have to tell them, look, you have to look after your toilet. Once you're done, keep it clean for the next person.
Do you think
I'm the only one who does that.
Do you think
I clean everything.
Do you think it has to do with our usage of water in the toilets? I mean, like
No, because Indian men are entitled, and from whatever society you come from, you think it comes out. The sun comes out of the same place.
Water leads to dampness, which leads to spillage, which leads to all kinds of things, right? Which kind of leads to a general messiness, as compared to dry toilets where there are usage of
that would help. Of course, that would help.
I wonder, is that the issue?
I would make you health minister today.
It's like we're solving this issue.
I would give you a toilet for every square kilometer.
Well, but I don't think that toilet paper is a good thing. I prefer the water.
I want an attendant to wash me.
Well, that is always the best.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can I tell you what can I describe, or should we just end it here? Let's end it.
I think we should end it.
Leave it to the imagination.
All right.
He's trying to save kids and do something with his life, and all we can do is absurd conversations about rich people in toilets who don't like poor toilets. All right. Whether it's India or Pakistan, there's a lot to improve. Moving on.
Okay, Cyrus, do you know about the Storm Area 51 campaign?
You'll tell us about it, Amit? just in case I didn't know.
Well, so Area 51, right?
Oh, that American thing where the aliens are supposed to...
So there has been a Facebook campaign that we should all storm Area 51 on one particular day. They can't stop us all. This is the same logic that the Chinese used at Tiananmen Square.
Oh, terrible metaphor. Really not nice.
It's the same logic, man, and I think it's dumb.
This has become the dark comedy of our show now. I'm feeling in peril.
It's a mistimed Men in Black promo.
Let's go back to toilets, guys. Come on. What is this?
The Facebook page now has, at the time of the article mentions 400,000, it now has more than 4 million sign-ups.
Wow.
Everybody from around the world.
But you think they'll really turn up?
But so the date...
So what do they want to unearth? Aliens walking around?
On September 20th, they say we'll all run into Area 51 where they believe they're hiding aliens.
Yeah.
They can't shoot us all, so we'll finally uncover whether or not they actually...
Where are they running from?
Outside area.
Some of them are tired.
America is a country which right now the leader doesn't want a Mexican there or a German there or anybody else extra there. And now you're starting to discover 1 lakh aliens walking around. Like real aliens, not the aliens that you wanted out. Those aliens are allowed. Maybe that's it.
Those aliens are in cages, actually.
If you're from Uranus, you can stay.
The motels...
More black humor from Abbas. Lovely.
Motels
he smiled and said that. Those aliens are in cages.
The motels and guest houses around Nevada are starting to fill up for that particular
date. Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is going to be the next movement?
Internet
After the civil rights movement of the 60s, this is going to be it? Save the alien! Look under the rock!
Internet searches for aliens Area 51 have spiked since this happened. So, and I'm really interested to see what happens on September 20th. The American Armed Force had to put out an official tweet saying, do not do anything like this, do not risk your lives. But, yeah.
Do you guys believe that they're going to find anything? I don't know where you guys sit on the alien topic.
I don't. So I have a very deep abiding belief in one simple factor.
Please tell us.
conspiracies don't happen because 3 people cannot keep a secret. I believe this thoroughly in my life. So I don't believe in alien hoaxes. I don't believe in moon landing hoaxes. I don't believe in any of these
9/11.
9/11 was a hoax.
Okay, that's it. I'm off the podcast. I'm resigning.
No, it's
because
the
you guys
whole
are now crossing all lines of
20,000 Jews didn't show up to work.
Will you stop it?
No, so I don't believe in any of this stuff, right? I mean, like, my belief is very simple, that if it was actually true, we'd know about it. I mean, like, seriously, people can't keep quiet if they
No,
want.
but then what about the whistleblowers like
listen.
Julian Assange and all? These Snowden, they held those secrets for quite a few years. So
Right.
if it was actually happening,
Sorry, what did they do, though?
but we found out 4, 5, 7 years later, right? Like,
It's
so
not about
that's-
another thing, topics that were taboo or looking at, finding out things which are hidden by governments and now
No, but
exposed.
that
to them.
is classified. No, classification is different.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not-
Isn't Area 51 a similar topic?
no,
It's a
it's
wrong
not.
argument.
It's
I have the
different.
argument
There's
here.
a difference.
For Varun. May I make the argument,
No, by the way,
please?
I agree with you. Principally, I agree with you.
But may I make the argument, please, for the other side?
please.
For the aliens. If there are no aliens in the United States of America, how do you explain Dennis Rodman and Michael Jackson? I give you that. I give you that. As,
There are
please.
multiple conspiracy theories about Michael Jackson
And
also,
Dennis
right?
Rodman. It doesn't make any sense.
Both of them were on the Men in Black, no?
No, they were found on Sector 51 Chandika.
They were found.
Yeah, that's where they were located.
No, Michael Jackson did do a cameo for Men in Black as a tongue-in-cheek, I guess.
Yes, he
to
did. And I think Dennis
Now, don't
Rodman-
say tongue-in-cheek with him because it again mixed metaphors and I know what you're talking about. And how young was the cheek?
Yeah.
Oh my
That's the
God.
question we have to ask.
Aye.
Oh, हाँ
That's
तुम
so
कर
step-
सकते हैं बैंक
that's so step to five.
2611 911 सब कुछ
That's
और
step
मैं
to
कुछ नहीं
five.
बोल सकता है I can't make whatever rock and roll star who's dead 50 years
Well,
for
no,
God's sake
you're not 50 years. No?
40 years
10
30
years
years
or
10 years who cares? the real Michael Jackson died with the Jackson 5. After that, they put together 7 races and lots of chemicals and what is that?
But some
plastic?
good songs.
Good songs in the Hiranandani use the same thing in Powai.
Of
That
course,
white
yes.
plastic thing. I believe those buildings move a little as well, but stop it. I think we've done enough damage for the day. Should we move on to the AMAs?
Let's
Yes.
do one last before we move on. So you've been using the Face App challenge. I don't know. You put up
I did.
on your Instagram.
I did.
So that's gone viral, but the FBI has warned against its use because
Why?
the app might be using it to.
So
for
also, it's
facial
been designed by
recognition.
Russian developers. That's
Yeah.
the main
Russians,
point.
even
Oh my
Russians. Oh my God.
What can they do with the Face app? I don't get it.
So that's also the general consensus has come out is they are not taking any more information than Facebook or Twitter is.
They're taking
No,
less.
but I mean, to answer your question, it's like facial recognition and AI and all of these
the
places.
future.
Yeah. That's the direction that.
So
controversy was
basically,
going.
you've given your info to
Yeah.
a Russian company, and
I don't mind. Я знаю по-русски. I speak it fluently, so I'm okay. Yeah.
What are they going to do? I mean, seriously, you're giving them a picture.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with that? And it's not like there is a shortage.
That's what they
of-
used to say about everything. Now they have a credit card numbers. They have everything about
A
it.
credit card number is a whole different level of problem than a picture is, right?
That cloud is a
Picture.
big. For me, the cloud is the biggest problem. They have everything.
They do have
Truth.
everything. They should have everything.
Including your porn collection, who you're chatting with, who you're sending naked pictures
Why
to.
are you saving porn in the cloud? Don't you use a streaming service?
No. Is that an option?
That is the better option.
All right. Enough of this damn show. You guys are just frauds, impersonating wise men. Can't take it anymore. And bad humor, I must say. Mean, vicious,
I know.
malicious men today. Well done, boys. I'm proud of you. What's next?
you want to do one more? Or you want to go to
No,
the
I don't
AMAs?
anymore.
Cool. Let's go to the AMAs.
Yeah, amazing.
Hey everybody, welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I know that you guys are making fun of this promo on social media. Please continue to do so. That seems like, as long as you keep listening, I don't care if you make fun of it. I wanted to again just reiterate we're hiring at the best place in the world to work at. That's the IVM Podcast Network. We're looking for producers, content creators, audio engineers, developers, photographers, business people, all kinds of roles. Go check out our careers page, ivmpodcast.com/careers. We're really happy to announce the second season of Marvel's Lost and Found, which premieres on the 23rd of July. This season, Zen and Avanti cover issues like addiction, mental health in kids, grief, eating disorders, and more. There are a number of special guests that will be on the podcast. Catch new episodes every Tuesday. On Tech Careers in the News, Sheila Aditya is joined by Sridhar Rajgopalan. He's the MD of Digital and Interactive Platform at Accenture Technology. Also joining them is Maren Grace, the MD of Accenture Digital Delivery at Accenture Technology. They talk about extended reality, the interesting opportunities in this space, and a whole lot more. On Equity Sahiye, Anupam is joined by a very special guest, the co-founder of Motilal Oswal Group himself, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. He talks about his fascinating journey from being a farmer's son to becoming an entrepreneur and a lot more. On Mr. and Mrs. Binge Watch, Janice and Anirudh are joined by their very first guest, Punna Jagannathan. They talk about her recent casting in Big Little Lies and her experience working with Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman. On What a Player, Mikhail is joined by Unni Namboodiripad and Joel D'Souza to discuss and close the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019 and Wimbledon. On Not Just Tansak, Person talks to culture and food writer Meher Mirza about the importance of articulating food stories rather than recipes. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by Gaurav Lulla, co-founder of Loose Cannon's content studio. They talk about the importance of brand communication and their mutual admiration for the brand Nike. On the Pragati podcast, economist Anupam Manu returns to discuss how dollar bonds would affect the Indian economy. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, welcome back. We are here with the AMAs. I don't know why I have to formalize this. I keep insisting, but the producer makes me feel like a 12-year-old.
So make him change the format.
I know. I feel like Vikram Mohra doing quiz
tell
time.
him that this is the format.
Or you know those kids in college when in the 90s would go like, hello friends.
Yes.
Moment you hear hello friends on a stage, you
Also
have
a
to
show
run away.
you were a part of.
Yes, I was.
So maybe
Hence,
instead of welcome back, let's pick your own random little
yeah.
phrase, no?
Bloody hell.
There you go. Start with S.
AMA. So now before we say the AMA, we have to say bloody
hell AMA. That's
Abbas,
it.
bloody hell AMA.
Okay.
All right. We've got
Can I do one last story which I wanted to do?
Can you do it alone when you're home?
I just very quickly mentioned the story that authorities in Tennessee have warned residents not to flush meth into their toilets because it's going to the water bodies and alligators are snorting it up and becoming what they have termed meth gators.
Wow.
This just seems like out of a monster movie.
No, listen. I don't know if the reptile's going to get more fierce or wants to mate or something because you've given them the wrong drug. Imagine an alligator wants to mate with you, charges down.
Hey, dude, meth gate. I mean, like, meth gators would be fun, man. I mean, like, they're crazy, right?
Okay, I'm
Steven
done.
Spielberg is on the case.
I'm done. We have now Peter on our trails because this guy's like, wow, horny alligator, my thing. All
Okay,
right.
first question comes from Meghna Murlidhar. Hello Cyrus, Gujarati girl in Germany.
Murlidhar is not Gujarati.
Must be married to a Murlidhar.
Thanks so much. Superbly done. You crossed and I scored.
Big fan of your YouTube show the week that wasn't YouTube
Well,
show.
you can see it on YouTube if you can't. I mean, I don't know how they send snippets.
I started seeing more and more, actually.
Yeah.
They're doing a little bit more now than they used to.
Yeah.
My question for
Maybe
you
they're
is...
just pushing us there. Yeah.
Her question is, what's your take on the emails which we keep getting, like you have won 1 crore rupees or Coca-Cola lottery?
You know,
have you got something like this?
Yeah, it's a super question. And actually, the first time it happened, I won £7 million 5 years ago. I was so happy. Is it as romantic in you that you actually believe somewhere that that miracle will happen one day in your life? So I went running to my wife and said, £7 million. She said, immediately delete it immediately because otherwise they'll take our £7 million. And that's the other reaction that happens. Yeah, but what's your reaction to this? Do you ever get fooled?
Spam? Yeah, no. Well, so it does happen, right? I mean, like, sophisticated people get... Okay, so I'll tell you a story of what happened to a cousin of mine recently, right? Very sophisticated guy. He's been around the world, traveled all over the place. They were in India for a while and they wanted to go visit the Northeast. They wanted to go to like Sikkim and all that kind of thing, right? So they did a Google search, tours in Sikkim, what can we find, this, that, right? So they found this place called Amazing Tours. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind using the word Amazing Tours because the company can be unfound on Google. You can't find them on Google, right? Because if the name of the company is Amazing Tours, it from an SEO perspective is a terrible name, right? Because if you search for Amazing Tours, you'll find all these TripAdvisor kind of reviews saying, hey, this is an amazing tour. This is an amazing
individual
tour.
reviews by 8 million people with the words amazing tour.
Yeah, exactly. So what wound up happening is that they paid them for hotels, cars, tour, all of that, and they reached the airport. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody there for them.
Wow.
And,
it doesn't exist.
Amazing
The
Tours
service didn't exist.
The
It was a
service does
con
not
game.
exist. Amazing Tours does not exist.
Why didn't
Nothing
we think
exists.
of this before?
Well, I mean, like, it's straight, dude. I mean, like, there's
generic
nothing...
name is the key, and then you're good.
No, but I mean, like, it is they got caught, right? My cousin
How did they get caught?
No, as in my cousin got caught into something like this, right? But if my cousin would have given this 20 minutes of thought now, not even 20 minutes, 2 minutes of thought now,
hindsight,
he would never have
hindsight.
got it. Exactly.
Hindsight. I've dated so many girls who in hindsight would have said no.
Yeah.
I mean,
or would have said yes.
That would never happen.
But I think that's what happens with this, right? That I mean, like, you get caught up in a particular moment with a particular thought, and you just kind of go ahead and just do something. You don't give it the thought that if you just step back.
But is there anyone who actually says wow and follows up with the procedure? 7 million pounds. Press this. Send your this thing.
So you don't know about the
Nigerian
best,
prince stories.
Yeah, the Nigerian prince stories. You know, one of the there is a website. I think it's called 409 or 419, whatever the Nigerian calling thing is.
He's pretending like he's not part of it, boys.
I know it's been a long time since I saw this website, but what it is, it outlines stories. So basically, the way these Nigerian scams work, right? They are basically a game of big numbers. They'll send out 1 million emails. Out of 1 million emails, maybe 5 people will write back to them.
So it sounds authentic.
No, 5 people get fooled.
Only 5 people out of 1 million.
Out of 1 million will get fooled, right?
1 million, only 5 people win.
No, 1 million people they send these emails to. 5 people will get fooled, right? And they will respond to it, right? And then they'll respond, and then these guys will interact with them and saying that, to get this money out, we need to put in 8,000 pounds here or 5,000 pounds here, and so can you transfer this money to us?
Yeah.
And so it is a question of kind of putting this in front of a lot of people. You get a few people to bite. Now, what this also is that these guys, they don't want to spend time on somebody who is going to waste their time, right?
Right.
So there are people who basically dedicate themselves towards wasting a spammer's time. They get these emails, and then they'll start responding, and then they'll start conversing, and they'll be like...
As a job description, that's a great one, but
it's a fun thing
I go to work,
right?
I just sit around with another idiot, we play tennis on the net.
Yeah, and we just kind of mess with people, right? I mean, and it's a really kind of... I think it's called 419.
And the red herring is when they ask you to transfer money to them to pay you money.
So let me tell you...
again, theoretically is wrong.
So I'm also going to do a little bit of a PSA right now, which I've heard about. This is something that I've heard about from 3 different people in the last couple of months, right? So be careful.
Our research is always 3 or more.
Yeah.
Never less.
Yeah, well, true. But in this case, so OLX, right? If you put something to sell on OLX, okay, what will happen is that you put a couch, a bike, a TV, whatever, right? Okay, I want to sell this thing on OLX. Somebody will call you back. And they will call you back and say that I'm really interested in buying it, right? And I'd love to buy this, but let's do this. Let me pay you directly using Google Pay, right? And so you'll be like, yeah, okay, fine. And then this guy's not bargaining. Everything seems good. Okay, yeah, cool. Let's do it, right? So the guy's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do a test transaction first. I'm going to send you, I'm going to send you 5 rupees, right? Just tell me that everything is working correctly, that you've gotten it correctly.
Nicely done. Yeah.
Right? And at that point in time, that person will send 5 rupees.
But all the details, yeah.
So there are 2 ways that this happens. In the case of the 5 rupee thing, what they do is for the higher ticket items, they send you the 5 rupees. You'll see that you got your 5 rupees. Everything looks good. And then what they will do is they say, okay, looks good. Okay, now I'm going to. So then they will send you a request for money instead of a pay money thing.
Okay.
And then they will send you a request for 15,000 rupees, which is the cost for your television that you put on OLX. You see the amount. You see this. You say yes, and boom.
But that seems like the person's fault that they're not seeing requests for.
Well,
yeah, but a slip of the mind can happen.
See, that's how all of this happens. You do this with 100 people.
See, they'll apologize. You'll say one thing, I'm supposed to get, not give.
Oh, sorry. And then you just buzz off and you never contact them.
We are saying this from experience. We're not saying this. Me and Amit
Which side of it have you been on it?
Both sides.
But I think it's really...
Can you sell your mother-in-law like this?
You can try. It might work.
I'm just asking. She's a lovely lady. Not my personal mother-in-law, but generally, I get this from people when I'm showering. They all talk about mother-in-law as like being a problem.
Yeah. Now, in the smaller ones, they don't send the 5 rupees to you, right? For a smaller, like it's a 400 rupee, 500 rupee thing, they'll just ask you the 500 bucks.
They request
They'll just request the money. A lot of people will pay it and won't realize that they paid it. And again, you do this to 1,000 people. Out of 1,000 people,
this is why I like my kirana shop.
Yes.
This is why I like my old shopkeeper, dukandar, whatever you want to call him, because you can go, you can bargain. He's standing in front of you. You take your product, you pay your money. There's something in the old system which is I miss that.
I know it's an old system,
but it's lovely.
It's an old system. You have to
move with the times.
Bargaining on MRP. Yeah. How exactly go about
you
that?
can. So all these guys.
For years we got away with destroying the poor trader. He's standing there and you're telling him what to do, and rich women having heart attacks about what? Oh my
God! We are right before you go for your lunch, which is going to cost you 2,000 rupees. How can my Karela be costing me 72 rupees instead of 70 rupees?
Somebody did a paper about women in like South Mumbai who go shopping and who all multi-millionaires, they come out of Mercedes Benz, and this is 90s, not now, and yet would fight for that apple car 50 paisa on the dozen, 11.50 versus 12, like that, whatever it was, and fight like animals, not even small fight. They all come out.
So yesterday this happened, right? We ordered at my house. We ordered this gas range. We ordered it from Amazon, right?
Just come to my house. We got the gas range anytime.
The stove top thing or something like that, right? And it didn't work exactly right, and so. It needed to basically the regulator wasn't working correctly, right? So then somebody needed to come and fix it, right? My mom called the dealer for it, and the dealer said it was going to cost 300 rupees. The guy came, he said it was going to cost 350. Okay. It's 50 rupee difference, right? Now that guy gave a receipt, he did all of that, but he said it's 350 is the cost.
Yeah, but that's a cheating, huh? The principle is the issue. No, once the dealer told me 300, 350.
But he's
giving
you the receipt.
When you're going to buy apples from a guy, he's telling you this is the price. You don't have to choke him. You say, okay, yes or no.
No, but this is the amount. And now, Cyrus,
but she's agreed to 300. You shouldn't have to pay 350.
Here is
then
my
you
question
talk about
to
red tape. Somebody else is responsible.
Here is my question to you.
The buck stops with the dealer.
Here is my question to you, right? How much time am I, and she's not doing this, I have to do this. How much time am I supposed to spend online with some random dealer for 50 rupees?
But these are different points. This point is different. The point of the matter is the dealer said one thing and something else was prescribed. That's wrong. That is just wrong, and for that I leave the country. Can we get on?
Let's talk
the longest answer for. Just because the girl was Gujarati, married to a South Indian, you just decided we will give her 20 minutes.
No, I just want to say, so Sriram Padmanabhan, who's been on the show a couple of times, he has this joke that in the early 2000s, a Nigerian prince told us we won $1 million and we called it a scam. In 2014, an Indian politician said, I'll give you 15 lakhs in your account, and we made him the Prime Minister.
and he hasn't toured Nigeria. Only stop left.
Okay, this one comes from Twitter from @Shailesh_BG. He says, I hear Cyrus always rant about bikers. What about single commuters who use cars, especially big cars? Aren't they a bigger cause for traffic and parking problems?
No, I hate them. But nobody violates the law like the biker. You see, the biker, Shravan, don't say anything. You just our sound engineer here is getting upset. But the thing is, they've gone beyond a point of realizing that they're doing whatever they're doing. It's just lawlessness, like the Wild West. They just do what they want. The bike is on the pavement, just normal for him. There's a difference for me. I'm no fan of this car, and I hate the Mem Saab in the car. Okay, that I have another prejudice about the Mem Saab in the car who never thinks about the cars behind. Or even people in Uber. Rich people in Uber or whatever, where they just make the car stop anywhere. Come on, use your head. You can move it to the side, get off without having the traffic come to a stop. So this civic consciousness now, where are we going to start?
Well, it's got to start somewhere.
Electric prod in the anus. You have to start with that. You keep it there and you press the button and you teach people this is wrong. You stop your car, somewhere in government office, they're doing this anyway. They might as well do it. Just press the button. Nupur Sharma, we can see you. We can see you stopping traffic at Warden Road. Now, the next one will be even more. Of course, if you start liking it, then this won't work. The whole idea is gone forever.
Okay, the next one's from Raj Jain, also in a car-related question. He first says, love you, buddy. More power to you. Your show is like the Desi Joe Rogan experience. He says...
Joe Rogan is a multi-billionaire.
Rogan Joe.
Yeah. Rogan Joe is a mutton dish from Kashmir.
Cyrus, since you're a Bawa, your love for cars, unlike bikes, is genetic. Just wanted to know...
Bawas like bikes, if anything more than cars.
Just wanted to know which car or cars do you currently own and which is the best car you have driven or aspire to own?
See, this is a very painful question. If I had more money, there's lots of... Everybody will answer this question in a different way. Varun, what would you say? Do you collect cars?
No, I don't collect cars. I don't collect cars. I have a car.
That's what I'm saying. So it all depends on the economics involved here.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
I would keep a Maserati if I had the money. Or Alfa Romeo. I like Italian cars.
What about these Tesla electrics and all?
Oh, yes.
Those are nice.
I drove that in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm. Those are nice.
Fantastic. Yeah. Scary, but
it doesn't feel like anything, right? And suddenly
we are so control freaky behind a car.
Yeah.
It takes a little. Probably my generation will struggle with it.
Right.
Because you cannot not be in charge of your car. Maybe it's your personality, I don't know, but it's a little more difficult than people think. So in trying to be lazy, the 22nd century, just think about what you're doing. But yeah, I also like, unfortunately in Mumbai, I love the Willys Jeep, the army Jeep. And when I was about 18, 19 years old, I met a pal in the one 4G, and we tried to actually get one of the army in Navy Nagar. And they were selling it cheap, but it was giving 3 on the litre.
Oh, wow, okay.
So my father, he started smoking 80 cigarettes that day because I had brought in this entire scheme. And when he found it was 3 on the litre, he had visions of me pushing it from Walkeshwar to Malabar Hill. He won't even go that far. Yeah.
All right, the last one is from...
Well, I'd just like to say, Cyrus is not saying what car he has right now because we're waiting... No, but you shouldn't say that. We're waiting for the sponsors. When the sponsor comes, that time we'll decide.
Japanese, German,
we
American.
Anything.
American is good.
It might be, exactly. It could be anything. It could be an Indian car.
Yeah, Tata is a
Indian car.
Yeah, Mike,
shouldn't use names.
Okay, Amit.
Hey, whoever's cutting the check gets to say what car Cyrus has.
All right.
Okay.
There's a word for that.
Eldon Vaz writes from Goa. He says, Hey Cyrus,
Ellen is a male name.
Okay. Hey Cyrus, started listening to your podcast fairly recently and I'm hooked. Your interviews are great and Cock and Bull is my ab workout. However,
Wow. we run 57 minutes on the clock right now. This guy's abs must be coming out of his ears. Ellen.
His question is related. He said, I'm always left wishing it lasted longer. Would you consider...
What is he talking about?
That's why in the bracket is written insert dirty joke.
Yeah. Because that ain't no ab workout.
Would you consider a longer format, somewhat like a Joe Rogan, of 2.5 to 3 hours? I'm sure your audience would
Joe
love
Rogan
it.
does 3 hours?
He does 3 hours. He does it 3 or 4 times a week. He doesn't do it every day, but he does 3 hours.
If we get a sponsor, we'll do 16 hours.
Yeah.
Stop that.
It's all about the car company that's going to
The
sponsor
only one
this.
who's tired is Varun. He's pulled, to use a sexual phrase, he's pulled out and he's just like leaned back and he's going back to saving his, creating awareness amongst children. A higher platform than ours. We just want to get rid of the children. Every day I think of the Pied Piper. Take them away. All right, that's all we have time. Varun, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Checks in the mail. And then we laugh. Okay, folks, great news for me, not so much for you. We're going thrice a week. We're not repeating shows. We're going on thrice a week, 2 regular shows and a new one, the birth of a new one called Lanso, Left Arm Not So Orthodox. It's talking cricket. 2 great minds talking cricket. One who has never played the game and the other, well, relatively less inexperienced. The one and only, what's my name? Cyrus Brocha. Lanso. New episodes every Wednesday. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And that's what Cyrus says.
India's a massive subcontinent, home to truly stunning diversity. Behind the veils of smoke that obscure our thriving cities, our history is still alive, glimmering like sequins, waiting to be discovered. And if you, like me, are straining to hear the echoes of our past, this podcast is for you. I'm Anirudh Kanisetti, a history and geopolitics researcher, and I host Echoes of India, a history podcast about India, by Indians, and for Indians. In Echoes, we journey through the complex histories of South Asia and what they can teach us about our globalized world. Tune in every Wednesday on ivmpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app.
Think fast. If I tell you I'm Parsi, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Dhansak. I don't blame you. My name is Parzan Patel. You may know me as the Barbie Bride. Though I run a popular Parsi food blog, the truth is I didn't know anything about Parsi food until I got married. It was just my luck. He turned out to be your typical sadra lega wearing, kawab khari eating Parsi boy. And the only thing I knew was dhansak, or rather, how to eat it. But there's more to Parsi food than dhansak. And there is more to us than our obsession with eggs and our legendary Rani cafes. Welcome to Not Just Dhansak, a fresh new show where I talk to friends, fellow Babas and Parsi entrepreneurs about all things Bhonu. A little bit of history, a dash of Baba madness, and a lot of food talk. There's more to Parsis than meets the eye, and there's certainly more to us than Dhansak. Join me every Tuesday as I talk to some of my favorite Parsis in the food space in India and beyond. I am the Barbie Bride, and this is Not Just Dhansak.